just picked up a new project. Pretty much a big gas-powered saw. Blade spins. Bearings actually feel halfway decent on that. And looks like it's got a clutch, which is a bit backwards from what I'm used to seeing. It's of course frozen solid, but the engine does turn over. I don't think the valves are moving, stuck open. The engine is a Clinton engine from probably early to mid 1950s. It's, in my opinion, pretty neat looking. I'd like to get the engine running, and of course when I get the engine running I'd like to power that saw. It would be pretty awesome to see, get this thing working again. I'll definitely need to get a new wheel for the right hand side. Right now it's propped up on a cinder block. Controls are frozen, but today's video is going to be focused on tearing apart the engine, at least assess it for, see what repairs it needs. The air cleaner on it has a, what feels like maybe a metal cap. Of course we have that. Got the, okay, so metal cap with a clear plastic, not so clear right now because of all the gunk, but a clear plastic filter housing. I thought that was kind of interesting. Looks like the clutch is free, throttle is free, but this wire's kind of in the way. Throttle's free. I wiggled the mixes a couple times, and solid. See, the spark plug wire is of course rather interesting. Somebody puts a normal solid core wire on the end of it to make it reach the plug. I'm sure that worked. It's probably also how you turn it off. So what I'm going to try today is get this gas tank off. I've looked inside it. It's of course rusty, but doesn't look terrible, and it's a pretty thick metal, so I don't think it's rusted through. Should be able to clean it up and use it again. Should be awesome. But gonna get the gas tank off, get this top cover off. I want to pull the head. I should try removing the spark plug, but the engine turns over. It actually turns over pretty decently. Looked down the oil hole. Doesn't really have a dipstick, and I can see what looks like oil in there. Who knows if there's water under it, but we'll have to definitely drain the oil at some point. For starters, I want to get the head off, see what's up with the valves and piston. if I can get the valves freed up. So the valve cover on the back here is missing. So I need to get the valves freed up. They seem pretty well solid stuck. But it's a pretty cool bowl on that carburetor. Definitely I'm gonna have to pull it off, clean it. Yeah, guarantee the jets are not gonna be functional right now. Oh yeah, it has a governor. It is attached to this broken throttle control. Throttle's frozen on the handlebars, but I think once we get it off of this broken throttle, governor linkage, I gotta figure out how the actual throttle connects to the governor. Anyway, I got some research to do. Let's get started. So, I'm going to take the shroud off. These bolts are coming off pretty easy. Yeah, I spoke too soon. Anyway. Alright, 4 bolts in the shroud. Shroud's loose. Gas tank's still attached to it. I like that fuel line. Doing the loop. That's pretty cool. So I gotta crack the fuel line loose to be able to take the whole assembly off as one. Alright, assuming that is 7/16. Also need a second 7/16. Nice. I really gotta get this wire out of here. It is just being a pain. Yeah, there we go. Just broke. And I kicked you. Sorry. Alright, finish getting that pulled off. There we go. And what's under? Holy cow. We're gonna have to evict somebody. There you go. Come on. Alright, what's my way? Gotcha. Yeah, let's zoom you out. Oh, that's what was scraping and rubbing. Somebody's gonna be unhappy they just got evicted. Poor mice. Anyhow. See, gotta find a Phillips head screwdriver for that last screw. Get that top plate off. Then I can pull the head bolts. Alright. What are the chances that this screw will come off without fighting? Oh dang. So that's one thing I don't get. I've pulled apart some stuff from the 50s and 60s, and most of the time their hardware comes right out. I mean, it looks rusted, nasty, super crusty, but the hardware just unthreads, comes out nice and easy. Stuff from I've pulled apart from the 80s, 90s, I would have been shearing everything off, just completely destroying it, trying to get this apart. Even up until 2000s. So, with all the advancements that we have, has our metallurgy gone down in quality significantly over the years? Because for this to be in this good a condition from the 50s, obviously has been left out, mufflers rotted off. I suppose I can zoom you on out. But I mean, look at that. Muffler's all rusted out. It's been abused. Yet the hardware just unthreads. I didn't even have to... Yeah, I haven't used any sort of lubrication on it. It's just as is. I don't get it. So those are going to be 1/2 inch. Get you in position. Let's see. Now this front shroud looks like it might be screwed into the head. This front shroud's going to come right off with the head. Alright, moment of truth. Or not. Come on. Ready? You're going to see this before I do. It's not so bad. Plug looks fine. Don't feel play in the piston. Put that down. Sure it's not going to fall. We got our head gasket, which is just a piece of aluminum, I think. It feels like aluminum, it's super light. I don't know. We'll find out. You should get all the crusty stuff away. Definitely gonna have to blow this out. This has there's some play in the wrist pin. As I'm doing this, I'm seeing the piston rotate slightly. Alright. That's a short throw. That cylinder feels pretty good. There's a little bit of a rusty spot up here at the top. Don't know how much of that's just carbon up here at the top, but yeah, that's one thing I am seeing. Neither of these valves is moving, and they're both closed. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to twist that off. So both valves are... Oh. I can twist the intake valve, and I can twist the exhaust valve. The valves are freed up. But we are getting no lift on them. So the lifters let's see. This engine has to come apart for the cam. Cam's either missing or broken for that not to be rotating at all. Or not, for the lifters not to be working. Oh man. Definitely gonna have to shim that. I mean, either way, I've got to get in, do points and condensers. It is time to drain the oil. I'll get you set up for that. Alright, got a pan under it to catch whatever comes out. Is 9/16. It's not bad. There's no water. It's pretty clean looking. No shiny bits. Sweet. Let it drain for a while. So one cool feature I've noticed comes with the Allen key. For disassembling it. Pretty neat. Battery's getting low, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the engine off and charge the camera, and I'll be back when I'm ready to open up the base of it. Alright, on the bottom of it, looks like just the 2 bolts to pull off. Alright, got the bottom off. It has an appropriate amount of sludge. Nice and chunky. Uh-oh. That is a piece of metal. I believe. Uh-oh. There are a few chunks of shrapnel. Those can be lifters. So, we got this guy. There's a little bit of side-to-side play. A little bit of play there, but as you turn the engine, notice that gear turns, those lifters don't. Here's the governor. I think that's part, yeah, that's going to be part of the governor. Okay. That looks like on one piece, but that, sorry. That camshaft is broke. For sure. Yeah, I gotta take a much closer look at everything now. Now the question is, where did those pieces of metal come from? Because there's a limited candidates for sources in here, unless that oil drain plug was their source of entry, in which case we have here a case of sabotage. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of the engine apart. I've already cracked these 2 bolts loose. We'll get that pulled off. Get the dipper pulled off in the cap, and we'll take a look, see how bad that looks. Alright, moment of truth. I guess the whole cap comes. Ta-da! That yeah. Doesn't really look bad from here, but we'll see. That looks and feels okay. Feels better than it looks. There we go. More diffuse. That's as good as we're going to get. Time to get the piston out. Or rotate this over. This piston's right at the bottom of its stroke, or top of its stroke. I'm looking at it upside down. This is going to take 2 hands, but I'm just going to push on the rod and see if I can't just pop the piston right out. The carbon at the top might get in my way a little bit. Well, piston came out, and it looks decent. Rings are not stuck, both springy. The oil ring looks fine as well. So none of the rings are stuck. There's this little carbon ridge. I think that's supposed to be there. Something about, I don't know. I gotta look it up again. But other than this rough spot and dark spot, so that's rough, and this dark spot, the piston's in decent condition. So I did notice a bunch of dings on the rod. Let's see. Other than sliding back and forth, I don't feel any play in that wrist pin. Yeah, my bench is dirty. Anyhow, I found on eBay an engine taken apart, its basket case, that almost has the same model number. Should be like the same series, different revision. Anyway, it's got a cam in it that I'm hoping is the same as this one. I'm going to pull this completely apart, see what I can do about, making those other parts work on this. I do want to get the valves out. I gotta figure out what type of keeper is on this and get it pulled. Next step was to take the flywheel off. There's magnets. So I took the cup off, put the nut on the end, picked up on the flywheel and hammered on the end of the shaft using the nut to protect it, and flywheel pops off and you can disassemble it. So got points, condenser, and a coil inside the flywheel. We got a couple magnets. So I'll have to see if they still are magnetic. And it's easy enough to test. Good. Still good. Pretty sure I take these two screws out to get the points cover off. I'll have to pull that key. I'm gonna get these all pulled out, see if I can't get this cover off, and see how difficult it is to get the cam out. I believe there's a pin I gotta knock through one direction or the other. Actually, I think this is the pin for the cam. Alright, got that pulled off. Leaving this unsupported on this side. Unfortunately, I cannot pull the crank out right now because it still has clutch on this side. It's not currently being held in place by anything. So that might push off, but again, rust in the way. I'm going to have to see what I can do about getting this off. In the meantime, I should figure out timing on that. There should be timing marks, but we'll see. Even smells like oil still. It's got that viscosity to it. That's pretty cool.